everybody. Happy October, everybody. We're doing 31 days of scary movies, and today is day 15. I am your host, Melissa Forzia. I'm a keynote speaker. My topic when I speak is something that I call Take the Doughnut, which is another way of saying carpe diem. And it comes from this weird thing that happened in college where I left an actual donut on a table. And that became an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave opportunity behind. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take the donut. Now, from time to time, I'll issue myself a take the donut challenge. I'll say there's something that I want to go after, and it's a way to hold myself accountable to it. And this time, I'm opening it up to anybody who wants to join. So here we are for 31 days of scary movies. Of course, today being day 15, we are watching Stitches. This is from 2012. It's a creepy clown movie. It's a slasher comedy movie. It's a supernatural movie. It's, we could go on. I mean, there's so many different things. It's directed by Connor McMahon. It's written by Connor McMahon and David O'Brien. It stars Ross Noble as Stitches and Tommy Knight as Tom and Gemma Leah Devereaux as Kate. Worth knowing, this film is actually an international co-production between Ireland, Sweden, and the UK. A lot of people liked this idea. A lot of countries liked this idea, and they made this happen. Some general notes about this film. I don't know, this may be one that you weren't familiar with before this. I don't know what you have and haven't heard of, but if you like this film, so there is one other creepy clown film on my list, which is Terrifier, but I would actually say that this film is not the closest to that in terms of tone. While they're both creepy clown films, no question about it, I think if you like this film, I'm guessing you might like A Nightmare on Elm Street too, because they both have creepy looking villains with a bit of a supernatural quality to them. Who have elaborate kills and dirty one-liners. And, if you liked Nightmare on Elm Street, this is probably right up your alley. So, I mean, the big thing really to know about this one is it just has these like elaborately thought out kill scenes that go so much more over the top than they really need to. I think the idea of playing with this idea that this, the clown killer is a showman at heart. And so the kills are going to be very over the top and showy, more so even than when Stitches was alive, because Stitches was a terrible clown. Okay. Really, really bad as a clown when he was alive, but far more effective in his death, in his undeath, if you will. So, I will go through, I'll go through the scenes here. It's not so much that the plot itself is complex. So if I'm going through the scenes, I don't necessarily need to say a ton about them. I think the spectacle of it is in the watching of it. But we're going to start off, and Stitches is a real life human being who's also a clown to make some money. And he's going to start off, he's going to have to run late for a party. So we need to give him a reason why. He is having sex with the girl. He's in his trailer on a cliff. Interesting place that he lives. And in his place, he is guarding an egg with a smiley face on it. Everybody happy? We're going to find out about that egg later because that's weird. So that's what he's doing, and that's why he's late for this party. And then he's going to realize that he is running late for the party. Oh my God, he has to go. So we're going to see the party that he's late for. It's Tom's birthday. They're cutting the cake. It's probably too late for the clown to be there, but they're cutting the cake right now. The clown he's trying to show up. He's in the car. He's smoking. He's driving with his feet. He's gross and dirty, and he curses, and he's just rough around the edges. And this is the guy showing up to this kids party. And so the kids are playing outside. Mom's putting dishes in the dishwasher. They just had their cake. And she loads the dishwasher badly because she puts a knife in it sticking straight up, a big knife that she would have used to cut the cake. So Stitches pulls up, the kids cheer. He may be late, but he's still going to give them some entertainment. He drives past them, not caring about them. He screeches to a stop when he gets to the house. Mom comes out angry. He's like, cash up front. That's how I do this. All right, fine. So he's going to do his show. And he's really, really bad. He plays with glitter. He gets glitter in everybody's faces and mouths. He's really not into it. The kids aren't really into it. They're all doing things. They're all being just little brats. They're all doing things to get in his way, to show him they don't like him, all different kinds of things. And we're just going to get a little moment from each kid of them expressing their displeasure so that we can flash back to that later when he kills them in that style. So, he goes to the birthday boy. He's going to pull a coin out from behind his ear, a little clown coin. He's got his hat of mystery. We're going to get one kid pouring a drink into it. Stitches only knows one balloon animal, and one kid's going to make fun of him for it. He can't juggle particularly well. He can't balance a chair on his nose. He's got Funny Bones the skeleton. Another kid breaks that. So, all in all, not going particularly well. He's going to juggle again, and one of the kids is going to tie his shoes so that he will fall over. Tom is going to throw a ball at Stitch's face, so he falls backwards, and because his shoes are tied, he's going to fall over. But he keeps stumbling backwards until he gets towards the dishwasher, and when he falls back, he falls face first onto the knife that's exposed in the dishwasher. That didn't kill him, though. You wouldn't believe it. The kids are going to approach. He stands up. He's got a knife all the way through his eye and through his brain, you would think. He sneers. He's almost making a zombie-like sneering sound. The kids run out except for Tom, and little Tom is watching him. And blood is pouring out of zombie Stitches, alive Stitches probably still. He pulls the knife out of his eye, and it's just a bloodbath everywhere. It's pouring out on Tom. So much blood, it's unbelievable. He goes to attack Tom. He's a little unhinged now, you can imagine. And the knife flips up in the air and it accidentally stabs him again. And this time it kills him. So Mom comes in. She's going to scream. This is bad. This is a mess. We are going to get a Daily Inquirer newspaper story, and his article is called No Laughing Matter. Tom has a treehouse where he's got a telescope set up so he can observe what's happening in the graveyard and at Kate's house, the girl he likes. And little Tom watches the funeral from the telescope. And we're going to see little flashbacks of this party with Stitches. He's flashing back to Stitches. He's sort of haunted by the image of Stitches. Stitches left a flower behind that he picked up. So Tom's going to go out to the graveyard and he's going to put that flower, the clown flower, on Richard Stitches Grindle's grave. And it says, "Everybody happy?" under it. Tom is then going to see something a little weird. There's a procession of clowns. Are they alive? Are they dead? Are they undead? There's a procession of clowns that are walking through the cemetery towards this building. It's not quite a mausoleum. It's not quite a turret of a castle. It's like an interesting building that they've got there. And they go inside and they start doing a ritual with a bunch of eggs. It turns out all of the clowns have an egg with some sort of face on it. Stitches is just the least developed, really. So Tom is watching all this. He sneaks in. He's watching the ritual. One of the head clown finds him and he says, "You're not in our charge." And he tells him the motto, the sacred motto: "A clown that does not finish a party cannot rest in peace." Oh boy, that's bad news. That happened to Stitches. We're going to flash forward to 6 years later. Tom wakes up and it's about his birthday again. His mom has to go on a trip and she's not going to be there for his birthday, which means on the weekend, the house is going to be free. But Tom is not a guy who has parties anymore after that thing that happened 6 years ago. And we're seeing just like memories that he has of his young love with the girl Kate, where they would be in the treehouse and look out the telescope together. And you just get a feeling that that's been done for a long, long time. We're going to go to school. We are going to age up all the kids. So we're going to see them when they're younger, and then we're going to see what they look like now when they're older. We see all of the kids that were at the party. One new person. So Kate has a boyfriend now, and he's such a tool. His name is Dan. Or at least he's hitting on Kate and seems fairly optimistic about it. So the kids have a math test. It's the reason why Tom did not go on the trip with his mom. Tom has a vision of his teacher wearing a clown nose and then looking like Stitches. He's just seeing it everywhere. He's got quite the PTSD situation going on. Tom is going to invite just a few friends to come over to the house for beers. And they're like, wait, your house is going to be free on the weekend? Let's get more people. He's like, no, definitely not. So he has a full-on vision of the teacher becoming a clown or just being a clown and ripping off his horny friend's penis. We're going to see right away how fake the effects are here. They're very clear about that. He ties this guy's reproductive organ to a balloon and sends it up in the air. Blood is spurting out. All the kids are laughing, and the teacher's voice says, your time is up. But when he comes back sort of to reality, the teacher is just saying, your time is up for your test. We're going to go to gym class. The friends are warming up for a basketball game. Vinny, the friend, he forgot the fact. Okay, so it's Tom's birthday weekend this weekend. Oh, maybe we should organize a surprise party for him. The kids are like, don't you remember what happened 6 years ago? He doesn't do parties for a reason. So, okay, no party, fine. We're going to check out the treehouse. Tom goes there at night. He's going to see Stitch's grave, and he looks at the coin that Stitches gave him. There's a headline from an article where it says, freak has accident. Tom is going to look through his telescope to Kate's house, and he's going to see her on the phone. Next day at school, Tom, he's had a change of heart. Maybe it's time. 6 years is enough. He's ready to have a party and celebrate his birth again. So Tom is going to formally invite his best friends, Vinny, Richie, and Bulger, to his house for his birthday. He has like a little flyer for them, a small flyer, and it looks like something a kid would create. And they're like, oh, that's cute. He's like, it could be a party, and we can have cake. Vinny is going to take this to the next level. He's going to create a My Face invitation, which is some sort of a mashup between MySpace and Facebook. There's a teacher with a very bad comb over who's going to give Kate detention for her boots. And, just want to get a little more time with Kate here. And Tom's going to give her an invitation to his party on Saturday. She's like, I might be going out with the girls, though. He says, have them come. That's fine. And he flirts with her about her boots, but he's just not Dan, that's for sure. Tom's going to have another vision of the murder weapon from the real party 6 years ago, the knife. We're going to see the bullies, Sarah and Paul, who were at his party 6 years ago, and they took a turn for the worse. They are full-on bullies now, and they found out about his party from My Face. From what? Yep, that's right. Vinny put this thing on My Face on his behalf. Paul is like, me and ATB will come to your house. He's like, ATB? He's like, all the effing boys. Tom's going to get home, and he's going to find a note on the door. His mom left a gift for him. It's a new bike. Vinny our friend who's really into girls has discovered Mary, who's grown up quite a lot, and he's very attracted to her. He is about to masturbate to a picture of Mary, and on his bed is the invitation flyer that Tom created for him. And a big wind comes in, and it's going to pick up this invitation and it's going to send it out into the night, and it's going to fly through the air until it lands on Stitch's grave. Okay, next day. So it's an engraved invitation for Stitches, if you will. Okay, next day, Tom is cleaning up before the party. The doorbell rings and his friends come over to surprise him and help him get ready. Vinny and Richie and Bulger are all there. They're prepping for the party. Tom's taking his anxiety meds. It's Tom's first party in a long time, so they got to do this thing right. They're ready now. Just bring on the people. It's time for the kids to arrive. The guests arrive, the music starts, the party rages on. And in the cemetery, things are amiss. A pinwheel starts spinning. Richie is trying to flirt, but unsuccessfully, because he doesn't have those skills yet. Bulger is gossiping on the phone. He's a bit catty, that Bulger. Stitches, well, his hand comes out from the grave. Just the hand at first. Little Carrie style right there. Tom is looking for Kate because he's still pining for Kate after all these years, despite Dan, despite the fact that it hasn't been working. Vinny, meanwhile, is pining for Mary. He's looking for her. Tom's getting pretty antsy here. Stitches now rises from the grave, and I love it. There's like we're going to look from sort of the ground behind the cross at his grave, which is sort of leaning forwards, and Stitches comes out of the ground and sort of like stiff as a board and just sort of comes up and then starts walking forward. We're going to see his silhouette and his very distinctive hair, and he says, "It's time to party." He's got a raspy voice like he's been smoking all his life. Tom is at the party. He's getting overly excited about video games while his friends are getting very excited about the girls playing pool. And they have a hash cookie, and maybe Tom could use a little bit of that, except Tom doesn't know it's a hash cookie and he eats the whole thing. So he's going to be really high. Stitches is now walking towards the house, and we see his face in the window behind one of the girls playing pool. Tom goes to the bathroom to wash his face. He's starting to feel the effects of the hash cookie. More kids enter the house. Kate even arrives, and Tom is a little too dazed. So Vinny's like, "Hey, Tom, Kate's here? Kate's here." Kate's gonna come over and greet Tom. Vinny goes away, and then Bulger starts to approach. Vinny pulls Bulger away. He's like, "Give this guy space." But Tom is totally stoned, and Kate can see that right away. She's somewhat impressed by the situation. Somebody knocks into her and she spills her drink, but it almost lands on Tom, and she's like, "Oh, missed you." And he's like, "Oh, I missed you too, Kate." She's like, "No, the drink. That got too real." Stitches is now going to watch people dancing. Bulger is making fun of yet another person. Mary's dancing. Vinny wants to get with her. He's very excited. We're going to see Kate introduce Tom to her friends. Tom flashes back to the party from 6 years ago, but unfortunately, that doesn't really match up with today because Dan shows up and he's there with Kate. And Dan's just flat out patronizing Tom and being a general tool. He wants Tom to go, but he doesn't really want Tom to go. "No, we don't want you to go." Kate lets him stay. Stitches is going to step on a beer can with his big shoe, or some clown steps on a beer can with his big shoe and walks into the house as the kids outside are staring at him. We see those big clown shoes. We hear this clown saying, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you." And this silhouette of Stitches in the fog running towards Tom with a knife. Tom is going to run, and actually it's just Paul pranking him, being a bully again. Sarah's there with him. So the friends around Tom are like, don't you do this to Tom? No, no, no. Don't you re-traumatize him? No. Bulger is very protective of Tom. The kids go and they're like, fight, fight, fight. Everybody clears out, which gives the real Stitches a chance to get into the house. Bulger is going to tell off Sarah and Paul. He's like, don't you do this. And Tom's going to run away, so embarrassed by the situation. We're going to see that Stitches has entered the house. We're even going to see this shadow of his hair on the stairs. Tom runs to his treehouse. Kate's going to run after him. And Bulger goes to the pantry to find a Band-Aid for Tom, but he sort of loses focus on that very quickly because he's in the pantry and he likes to eat. And for whatever reason, he chooses can upon can of beans. Not your typical party food. So he starts eating this food. Kate's going to be in the treehouse here with Tom. She hasn't been here in a long time. She checks out the telescope, but this is weird. It's pointed at her house, you creep. He's like, no, 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 no. I mean, so usually I look at the graveyard to see Stitch's grave. I just happened to see you the other night. She's like, tell me more. He tells Kate about the ancient ritual he observed with the egg 6 years ago, that is. We're going to see Paul looking for a bathroom and Stitches sort of mirroring him. Benny's getting sick and Bulger is binging on food, and that's the latest. Richie's taking peeping Tom photos of all the girls at the place, thinking about who he wants to hook up with. Paul has to go to the bathroom so badly, but he can't get his clown suit off. He doesn't know where the zipper is. So he just pees himself. He's soaked through. And Stitches, it's like not quite The Shining. Stitches puts one hand on the door, the other hand on the door, and then he peers over. He is watching all of this with Paul, this very unfortunate situation. Tom, meanwhile, is sharing all of his great research with Kate about this ritual. He's like, here's the deal, the egg. So when a person becomes a clown, they have to paint their face on the egg. It's about the uniqueness of their spirit. Wow, it's tied to their very being. Paul comes out of the bathroom and Stitches calls to him. We need to start getting some good deaths going on here. So Stitches is going to call to Paul. Paul goes out to the balcony looking for the voice. He's got his shorts, his underwear that's just like full of urine at this point. So he's going to wring it out over the balcony into Dan's drink. We don't like Dan, so okay. There aren't really a lot of protagonists in this movie, I guess. So, things happen to people. I don't know how much we mourn them. But we're going to see Paul. So Stitches has shown up now and he's like, up to your old tricks again, Paul. And we're going to see a flashback of smaller Paul at the original party pouring a drink into a hat. Stitches says, well, maybe this trick will jog your memory. He gets a coin from behind Paul's ear. Oh, no, he doesn't get a coin. He pulls out Paul's entire ear. The whole lobe, just pulls it off like it's nothing. And then he just pulls off Paul's arm, and Paul is screaming and screaming. Very fake ear, very fake arm. That's the point. And he's like, oh, and so Paul's screaming, but he kind of chokes a little bit. And Stitches is like, oh, you must have a hair in your throat. Allow me. And he reaches into Paul's throat and grabs out an entire rabbit. So Paul is unwell at this point. And Stitches finishes him off by kicking his head off. It flies through the air and it lands in a pond. Stitches says, this party's really kicking now. And he walks downstairs. Because if you ever liked Freddy Krueger's one-liners, you're going to love Stitches. They're even cornier. And the effects are even less real. It's great. Okay, we're going to see Richie with the girl downstairs. Not the girl he would have picked, but there's a girl next to him who's like, oh, so photography is your hobby. Show me your pictures. Ooh, this one's of me. And she's just going to start making out with him. Sarah is at the front door. Not sure where Paul is, but Kate and Sarah are going to get into a verbal fight as we see Paul's head popping out of this pond. That's where he is. Sarah's not going to find him again. Sarah's like, have you seen Paul floating around? Kate, she implies that Kate dates a lot of people. Like, don't you try to insult me. I'm going to say you date a lot of people. Uh, then she's like, I mean, how did you get the name Blowjob Kate? Whoa. Okay. Kate is just going to flat out headbutt her. She neither confirms nor denies. Stitches needs some sort of a bloodhound. He needs to track down the next victim. So he pulls off his nose, puts it on the ground, and it becomes like it just starts searching for the people of the party. And it rolls along the floor and it finds one. Stitches goes into the pantry and he finds Bulger there, who has been opening cans of beans one after another. And so we're going to get a flashback from the original party where Bulger is throwing ice cream at Stitches. Well, this is a great opportunity. Bulger thinks Stitches is Paul because Paul was dressed like a clown earlier, but Stitches says, I'm not Paul. He had to head off. He says there's still room for dessert, though. So we're going to see Sarah off getting a beer while we hear Bulger screaming in the pantry. The song Died in Your Arms Tonight starts playing and all the kids at the party. This is a good song. Everybody's dancing to this one. But we go back to the pantry and Stitches is opening up Bulger's head with a can opener, just a regular can opener. He's opening up Bulger's head with it. He takes the top off of Bulger's head to expose his brain and he takes an ice cream scoop that's fortunately right there next to him, and he's going to start scooping out Bulger's brains into ice cream scoop shape. And he says, food for thought. Sarah is going to find Bulger in the pantry, and Stitches is going to weaken at Bernie's this, and he's going to pretend that Bulger is alive, which is he pulls it off just long enough for Sarah to be like, whatever, and she leaves. Stitches is then going to watch the kids dance. Meanwhile, Vinny is listening to Mary. He's really listening as Mary cries. Vinny's not really into having to be her therapist or just listen, whatever. Vinny bets her that he can make her nipples go hard without touching her at all. She's like, okay. And so he's like, okay, I just need to be ready. 1, 2. And he just goes and fully grabs them. And then he runs. He's like, look, it was worth it. She runs after him. She is kind of intrigued. She sort of likes the situation. I guess they were equally flirting here. He's going to run into Sarah. He's going to run past Sarah. Then he's going to take Mary into the bedroom. And Tom sees all this from the treehouse. But then he pans with the telescope and sees Stitches in another window in the house. And this is just an alarm bell going off for Tom. Stitches is really there. He's going to wave to Tom, and then he's going to flip him off. And Tom is going to pull up his ladder like, nope, nope, nope. I'm staying safe from all this. I mean, surely, Stitches is undead and came up out of the grave, but pulling up this ladder will probably keep Tom safe in the treehouse. So Sarah is going to go upstairs. She's looking for Paul. She sees Stitches at the window. She's like, Paul? He's like, nope. He says, this clown's not funny. Not anymore. She is the kid who flipped him off when he was little. So now we have to find an appropriate way to punish her. Meanwhile, we're cutting between that and Vinny and Mary starting to do it. They're hooking up. And Sarah, just as we're thinking, oh, it's getting hot and heavy over there, Sarah is going to stab Stitches through the throat with her heel, but that doesn't really matter. And so he's going to pull out her heel, And then he's going to get an umbrella. He fights her with the umbrella. She spits and he opens up the umbrella to protect himself from the one drop of spit. It's so funny. It's so good. I love it. Creative. This one's really elaborate. They get more and more elaborate as they go. She's going to run, and from behind, he's going to open up the umbrella and send it through her skull and through her eye. And it's going to extend her eye all the way out towards the camera. So it's in the foreground of the camera. And then, because that's not enough, he opens up the, so she falls back and the whole umbrella gets pushed through her skull. And the eye falls off the top and into her mouth. And the umbrella then opens up. And she is now sort of an art sculpture. It's live art, if you will, dead art, perhaps. So that's the end of Sarah. Now we're going to see Tom in the treehouse. He lets down the rope. He's maybe thought, okay, this might not help. He's going to get out. He takes off, Stitches is going to take off his nose to find the next person. The cat finds it and plays with it. Well, that's as good as anything. So Tom is coming to the house. He tells the partiers outside, leave because of the clown, leave. They just start laughing. They're not buying into it. And he's just like panicked. He's like, but clowns. They're like, no. So Tom starts throwing a rock at the window to try to get Vinny's attention. Vinny comes to the window. He's like, 5 minutes. Tom's like, the clown's back. Vinny's like, give me 5. Tom says, we have to go. We're now going to see the cat kill, which, look, I know that there are people out there who are like, the cat is beyond the pale. Mess with any of the people, but the cat, and it's a big kill. He says, let's see how many lives you've got left. And he's going to slam this extremely faint cat 9 times until it's dead. Blood spurting out of it. Again, definitely a fake cat. It's very, very obvious. And I know that there are people out there who will turn off the movie right now because of the cat. And I don't know how those people made it through the beginning of this film when they saw the violence to humans. But I know this is a thing. Okay, so like, I get it. If you turned off the movie here, okay, you got the gist. But if you stuck with the film after this, there's some interesting kills still to come. So the partiers are dancing. Tom is going to find Kate. He's like, it's Stitches. He's back. Kate says, no, it's Paul. Don't you remember? Dan is like, you trying to talk with Kate? And he's trying to fight Tom off. Tom says, no, let's help Vinny. The killer is inside the house. Kate doesn't want to go upstairs with Dan. He doesn't want to go upstairs. She doesn't want to go upstairs to hook up or to try to help Vinny. Neither of the above. The kids are now strewn all over the party, but they are starting to leave. Tom's going to grab a knife to protect himself, and he's going to go upstairs. He can't open the door to get to Vinny. Meanwhile, we need to see the most elaborate kill we've seen so far. Richie goes out to smoke. Stitches is going to pull him back. And this is the balloon animal flashback, because the kid was like, don't you know how to make he named an animal, and Stitch was like, I can't do that. He's the worst at making balloon animals. Well, look at what he's learned in his time being dead. So Stitches is going to disembowel Richie and makes a balloon animal from his intestine, and somehow Richie is still alive. He's making this balloon animal that looks like absolutely nothing, and he's like, can you tell what it is yet? Stitches is then going to take a picture with Richie, the other thing we know him for. And then Richie's going to try to run away because he can still do that somehow, and he trips over his own intestines. And there's one more thing Stitches needs to do to really humiliate him and definitely kill him. Stitches is going to stab Richie in the back of the head with the helium pump, and he's going to start pumping his head bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger like a balloon until it finally explodes. And that's the end of Richie. Tom is now going to try to convince Vinny to leave with him because of the clown, okay? That's why. Vinny tells Mary, we need to leave. There's killer clown in the house. Stitches is going to fight with him. Tom is trying to stab Stitches. They've coordinated this. They're double teaming dead Stitches, undead Stitches, and they escape. Stitches has a knife in his back now that he can't quite reach. Tom's not leaving without Kate. They could have gotten out of the house and gotten away at this point, but he's not leaving without Kate. Vinny, you know what? All right, fine. Vinny is going to help. So that he sticks around. They see the shadow of Stitches approaching, and he finally got the knife out of his back. He said, "Here, Tommy, Tommy." Tom and Vinny are hiding. They leave the closet though, and Dan stops them. Dan gets in their way. Dan's like, "Look, you." And Tom is just going to punch Dan. He's like, "I'm going to sue you." They escape. The girl who is making out with Richie is looking for Richie, and she sort of finds him. She finds what's left of him. She screams, and all the kids run to the window, and Stitches then runs to the window and scares them all. Kate sees this. So Tom was on to something. He wasn't just high. There really was a clown there. Stitches goes into the house, and he says, "Everybody happy?" They all run. Tom goes to get Kate, and they all leave. The clown, if he's going to add insult to injury, he's going to say, "Oh, blowjob Kate." He's going to use the nickname, and he uses his slinky arm to punch her. Vinny leaves. He's had enough. He's not going to be the hero anymore. Tom stays behind to try to wake up Kate. Stitches is going to grab Tom's head and dunk it into the sink. Tom is going to squirt soap in his mouth and face. Why this works, I don't know, but that's fine. We're going to see the squirt. He's squirting more soap in his mouth. Tom's now unsubmerged, and Stitch's bubbles start coming out of his mouth. Kate is going to grab the knife. Tom slams Stitches in the face with the freezer to stun him, and then Kate throws like a ninja star. She's going to throw the knife so it stabs him in the same eye as before. Tom sees Stitch's egg, and he gets a flashback to the ritual egg, or he sees an egg, and he gets a flashback to the ritual egg that he had seen years ago. So Stitches is still alive, but they have a chance to get away. So they're going to get on their bikes and run right away. Stitches is going to follow. He sees a trike. He figures that's good enough. They are going to go to the graveyard. That's the plan. The plan is they need to break Stitch's egg. So Stitches is going to follow on the trike. Somehow he catches up to them. Tom kicks him. The trike slows down too much when he starts going uphill and just stops. All right, fine. So Stitches is going to just carry the trike uphill. They get to the graveyard, and Stitches is overhead walking a tightrope with his big shoes on an electrical line. And they see that building or mausoleum. Stitches is going to fall off the high wire. He's looking for Tom and Kate, but they're hiding. Tom's hiccuping and he can't stop. And Kate's like, the only way to stop him is to kiss him. So she just kisses him. Oh, young love. Stitches is looking for them, but he gets further and further away. So they're going to run to this building. They're going to open the clown face lock. And by open it, I mean, they're just going to break it. They're going to bust it open. Kate's going to stand guard while Tom goes in to find Stitch's egg among many eggs that are lined up from the other clowns. Tom ends up pulling down an entire shelf, and he finds Stitch's egg, but Stitch's has his eye on Kate already, and it's not looking good in terms of timing for them. We're going to see a flashback to earlier in this party when Bulger was explaining how to open a jar, because apparently Tom didn't know this trick. He says, "Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey." So now Tom flashes back to this righty-tighty, lefty-loosey moment from Bulger. It's so stupid. It's so great because that's what this film is. It's so bad, it's good. And it saves the day. Bulger's trick saves the day. Tom opens the jar with the egg in it, and now Stitches knocks out the kids. He's got the egg. So all maybe isn't well that doesn't end well. And Stitches has the knife. He says, "Time to cut the cake." last kill time, which he's like trying to decide, I wonder which one is funnier, the look on your face when I kill him or the look on your face when I kill her. And Tom, while Stitches is talking, sees Vinny coming. And he just needs to keep Stitches occupied. So Tom says, how about we flip a coin for it? Stitches says, sounds good to me. So as he goes to flip the coin, Vinny is tying Stitch's shoes together like he did at the first party. Tom flips the coin into the air, but he flips it towards Stitch's eye, and it makes Stitches fall backwards with his shoes tied. He falls over, he drops the egg, and he almost lands on it, but his soft nose bounces off, and it doesn't break. Stitches, though, is still on the ground. Tom's going to kick his face into the egg and break it that way. And Stitches says, oh, I never thought I'd end up with egg on my face. I've, by the way, sanitized the language of all of this for YouTube, and I've cut out the majority of the F-bombs and other really dirty language. But if you're into that, this is the film for you. Stitches is going to die, and the death scene is gruesome. They're playing cards coming out from where his intestines should be. There's the egg yolk coming out from things that are actual orifices, and things that never were, things that shouldn't be holes, that just have egg yolk coming out of them. And then there's just orange goo coming out from everywhere. And then his face explodes and his clothes fly off and he's just done. There's no more Stitches. 6 months later, we're going to get a little grave for Puds, probably the cat, I'm thinking. We're going to see a for sale sign at Tom's house. It's okay, though. They're just going to move a few doors down. We're going to be in the treehouse with Kate and Tom. She gives him a moving gift. And it's a new telescope, a bigger one, so he can keep an eye on her, because that's not creepy at all. And they kiss. Aw, young love. And we go back to that weird, not mausoleum, but not quite a turd of a castle type of structure. The clown leader is trying to piece Stitch's egg back together as he gets a blowjob. So he's very excited with this delicate project. And he gets all the pieces back onto the egg, and then the cracks start to heal. And we hear in Stitch's voice, everybody happy. And we see bloopers running over the credits. Look, this is not a serious film, okay? It's just not. And that's why we love it. I think this fits into the so bad it's good, but they actually worked pretty hard to make it so bad it's good. Like, the kills are very, very creative. Yes, they are designed to look very low budget and completely impossible and very fake. And they're also really, really creative. They worked very hard to get puns all over this script. I feel like it's a movie they made and probably had a lot of fun making it. It seems like 3 different countries came together to put this out into the world. It feels like a modern, I know that Nightmare on Elm Street continued, for a long time with new editions of its franchise. But this feels like a modern day take on a version of a Freddy Krueger type of villain. Much different backstory. Oddly enough, less seedy in terms of the backstory, but much dirtier in how it plays out, and the types of things he says. So the kills are dynamic, and he showboats, and it's all that stuff that you love. You kind of hope Stitches is the villain that people will cheer for when he comes on screen, even though he wasn't a particularly interesting or fun guy to watch in real life. He's got some pizzazz and some charisma as a villain. I like the fact that there aren't really kids you can, like, everybody's kind of a jerk in this film. So there's that. But it's just a fun romp. You can't take this one too seriously. There are films on this list that you can take very seriously, and this is not one of them, my friends. But if you'd like one that you can take more seriously, that'll be coming up next time, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So in the meantime, that's what I thought about Stitches. What did you think about Stitches? Share your thoughts. And one thing I'd really like to know is, look, my scary meter is busted. I've watched so many scary movies in my day that I've totally lost what's actually scary in that process. I've desensitized myself to them. So take out your scary meter and go ahead and rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how scary you think it is. 1 being not scary, 10 being so scary, and anything in between. And let's see where this one lands. Next time, it's going to be day 16, and we are going to watch a movie called The Collector. It's a 2009 film. It's a home invasion film. It's a torture film. But when I say torture, it is not I don't believe it's at the caliber of something like a Hostel or a Saw, which are really meant to be a sickening amount of torture. Some people are really into that level. I stayed below that level as much as I could here on this list. So The Collector, it's there, but it's within the context of the story, and they keep it within a reasonable level. I don't even know what I'm saying, because none of this stuff is appropriate in real life, not a single piece of it, but it's less torture than a Saw or a Hostel. But I also want to say, like, for a home invasion film, I've been sort of escalating the home invasion films on my list. The Strangers is like a very slow build, quiet, suspenseful, sort of simple plot. This one as a home invasion film gets a lot more complex. Like, there's a conceit with this one that I think you'll find interesting, and it's fun to see it play out. So The Collector, check it out, see what you think. I think it's a cool film. I hope you'll join me for that one. And in the meantime, happy EEKtober. Get spooky, get donuts.